Welcome, everybody, to the fastest 45 minutes in Hearthstone. It is your twice weekly, usually, probably, it's our best intentions.
We're trying so hard.
Ladder support stream. We are here for you if you want to ascend the ladder like we do. Joss, welcome to Jory to Legend. You are the J-O and I am the R-Y. Let's start off. I feel like since this is what I've found is that this is very much our this is our kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Like, we start off by introducing who we are and
Yep.
what rank we are.
That's so true. So I am currently rank 11 with 2 stars, 2 whole
Okay,
stars.
rank 11, 2 stars.
Yep. How are you doing?
Not so good, Al. Not so good. I really have hit a wall in which I vacillate almost daily between 15 and 13. And I'm now at the well of 15. Although, like, it's one of those things where I feel like so much of this is just bad beat, which is really just the ladder in and of itself, right? Where if I could get a nickel for every 2-win loss I've had, like, I would at least have 50 nickels. Like, it is insane how many times, like, I've either just taken my eye off the ball, and this hasn't all been draw, right? It's either me taking my eye off the ball or not realizing, or like forgetting that I'm playing against Druid, and like that a lead of 23 health is not safe, like, and that I need to think about winning in 2 turns as opposed to 1 turn, to just take a few of those saplings off the board before they turn into a combined 10 damage. Wait, people are saying no audio. Okay. Wait, no. Everybody can hear. Good. All right. Also, this is not on my Twitch, so the people that are following
It's not on your Twitch? Where the hell is it then?
It's on diamondclub.tv.
Oh, okay. That would explain it.
That would explain why you're probably watching the Twitch chat and it's not happening. Yeah, this is all right. So, long story short, behind the scenes, we are trying, man, and maybe we're just gonna have to restart this for another month where we're both not doing.
No. We still have tons and tons of time.
Oh, no. I think we're gonna keep going, right? I'm just
okay.
saying these kind of weekly chats, in the way that we kind of envision them, we might have to keep them going through January or something. Where we're not, I am now in Austin because I have an opportunity to shoot these things that eventually I'll be able to talk about. You are still, it looks like maybe it's just an accumulation of more stuff. There's just more stuff behind you in whatever Canadian crawl space that you are currently living in before you permanently settle in Toronto.
Yeah, my permanent setup isn't going to be done now until probably sometime in mid-January, if not February. It's just constant construction. I started streaming earlier. It had been quiet all day. And then literally within like 30 seconds of me starting to stream, it was just like concrete drilling in the basement. I was
my
man.
Lord. and so
until stream, guys.
until then, you are Hearthstone's Harry Potter, living under the stairs and
Exactly.
Just trying to do your best to ladder. Okay, so I have a big question about my ladder quest, but let's go ahead and get into where you are right now. When we last talked, you were rocking some Murloc. Murloc charms. Sir Finley Murgleton had just rocked your world. You were tiny.
He's so dreamy.
Until the cows came home. Has that continued to do well for you?
No, actually, I started to, I think I went on about a 4-game losing streak and then just decided to mix it up because I was losing to like mages and paladins mostly.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? Okay, this has been fun. It was fun at those lower ranks,
Sure.
kind of 20 through about 15. And then I was like, you know what? I need to switch it up. So I actually switched to mid-range pally. So no secret pally. So this is not, I have not made some
Stop your hate mail.
Yeah.
All right. It's not
I've not
secret
crossed
Paladin.
over the dark side.
All right, so mid range or any fun little touches that you've you've had as part of it?
Well, I do love running Justicar Trueheart in that deck because then you get double the dudes, which is like super awesome.
Oh,
so
dude.
I'm running one Quartermaster right now, and I think with the Justicar change, I should probably take out one Zombie Chow and then put in one more Quartermaster because buffing your dudes is just so important with that deck, and only being able to do it once in the game, it's not enough. So I think, and I find oh man, Zombie Chow is just totally cluttering up my hand more often than not. So I think I can go down to one of those and up to two Quartermasters, and then I think we're going to wreck.
Here's something about Zombie Chow, though, that I have found running Tempo Mage, which is very reliant on both Mirror Image and Counterspell. But I'm running 2 Mirror Images and 1 Counterspell, that if I've got a Mirror Image up late in game, and I've been burnt by mid-range Pally quite a bit by this, that is the premier place for which you want to play Zombie Chow late in games. Because in general, Zombie Chow, straight hot garbage once you get past, 1, 2, or 3 mana, right? Mm-hmm. But late in game, if you're rocking, like I am constantly, Mirror Image at like 7, 8, 9, sweet Lord Jehoshaphat, you toss one of those Zombie Chows out there, not only are you getting guaranteed 5 for yourself, or at the very least, you're just testing the water to see whether or not you can pop that secret.
Yeah, it is one of the things that's really good to pop the secret with. Also, if you have an owl, putting an owl out pops that secret really well. Yeah. That was always my problem with Mirror Image, is I found like all I got was those freaking owls. And I was like, this is useless.
Yeah.
One of my things just got totally nerfed, and now I have an owl. Thanks.
Thank you for that durable owl.
Yeah.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of me rage quitting the game?
Yeah.
1, tahoo, and 3, disconnect.
Exactly. I haven't been seeing very many mages. I've mostly been seeing other paladins and warlocks after I hit probably about rank 12. That's all it was. So
shamans haven't really, I mean, because looking at the one thing that we have both been paying more attention to with a concerted effort for Legend is like the meta reports, and aggro shaman right up there in the like untouchable decks. But I agree with you. Number one, I play very well against aggro shaman with Tempo Mage because in general, you can pretty much power through it. And when you have, Arcane Explosion, Arcane Missiles, 2 Flame Wakers, there's a lot of just damage to low cost stuff that you can put out there. But also, the game tends to go quick, and I have a very high likelihood of having more firepower. But somebody's got to be playing these if Tempo Storm thinks that they're like the bee's knees, right?
I feel like, I don't know, maybe everyone who's playing aggro decks, because I also haven't seen very much Face Hunter, so I feel like we might be kind of past the point now, because we're 2 weeks into the season. I think we might be past the point where everyone is just playing super, super aggro to try to get up to those higher ranks as quickly as possible.
To just bum rush. Right
so I
there.
feel like Face Hunter and Aggro Shaman are probably in your 5 to Legend range, if not, were used to get to Legend, and now Legend players are playing something else.
Yeah.
I think they're still powerful decks. I hate that play style, and I find that like my actual game times for the most part are in and around 5 to 10 minutes anyway, and changing that game time from like 5 to 10 minutes down to like maybe 3 to 6 minutes. For me, I'd rather play something that I enjoy as opposed to just like going for aggro and either winning or losing by like the 5-minute mark.
Yes.
So it's a kind of how I prefer to play Hearthstone, so that I don't hate my life by the time I hit the end of December.
It is just a lot. You are ultimately playing that numbers game of like 51% win rate with enough time.
Exactly. So, and actually, have you been tracking how many games you've actually been playing?
I have not. No.
Okay.
Which is probably a part of the reason why I am not, and I'm going to ask you this question here, which I'm not going to have enough evidence for you to make an educated decision. However, I'm going to ask you to recklessly speculate either way. I kind of feel like I've hit a wall with this Tempo Mage. Mm-hmm. Is there a point in which I make a decision, should I start teching the deck, or should I junk this deck and go to something else that is more friendly to the meta?
I think at this point where you feel like you've hit a personal wall, it's time to start with something new. Only because if you try to just tech and then you still lose, you're going to get even more frustrated and you're probably going to drop even further.
So this is a mental health thing.
It is. It totally is. Especially where you kind of went into it thinking like, okay, I really know this deck. I think Mage is my hero. I need to use this for Legend. And then you've kind of hit a wall with that. Then you're going to be even more frustrated. Like it's just a cumulative effect. If you start with something that you feel like you don't necessarily, or you aren't as comfortable with Mage, then you're kind of like, new stuff. I'm learning things. And, every loss is like, well, that's a learning experience as opposed to,
me.
God damn it.
Becoming a more complete person.
Exactly. It's totally a mental health thing. I had the exact same thing happen to me at the beginning of the season. I started with a Demon Zoo deck that I felt really, really comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I think I was like at 52% win rate. Like I didn't climb hardly at all. And I was just like, well, I've played, kind of 12 to 15 games at this. I'm not getting anywhere. Like, I need to just switch it up. I'm going to have some fun. And that's when the Shaman deck happened. And that got me to that kind of 15 place. And then I started losing with that. And then I was just like, okay, maybe fun decks isn't the way to go. I need to, be a little bit more serious. So let's go with Paladin. And I mean, like, Shaman and Paladin, not my strongest classes. My strongest classes are Mage and Hunter. But Mage and Hunter are just not that prevalent really on the ladder right now. So I made the decision to go with something I was less comfortable with, but I feel like if nothing else in the last couple of weeks, I've learned a hell of a lot about Hearthstone and I feel a lot better about my play now. Although I will say streaming is so difficult. So difficult. I started at like 1-star 11 and ended at 2-star 11 today. And I was just up and down because of, just paying attention to chat, interacting with chat, missing completely what my opponent even played.
And you get this. This is something I got streaming the other day. Like, change your deck. Change your deck. Do a different thing, which I understand. Because if you're entertainment, then the entertainment decision is okay. You've seen me try to solve this same math problem over and over and over and over and over again, right? What would be the right entertainment decision? It would be to give you something else, give you something different. But from somebody who's trying to do it, right? Granted, maybe not all that well. Maybe not as well as
You're trying. You have a goal.
As the top Hearthstone players in the world, right? You want to go ahead and keep with something because you got to figure, okay, well, I know where I went wrong there. I know where that was a bad draw. I know where that was just an easy win for other people. But it's hard. It's hard to keep that peer pressure at bay because
absolutely
it is the struggle is real, folks. I think professional streaming Hearthstone players like Jocelyn and myself, we're the real victims here, is what I'm saying.
But like even the pros, when they're streaming Hearthstone, what they're doing is they're taking a deck and they're playing it for that day. And unless they get so frustrated that they're no longer having fun and they're no longer entertaining, but they still have hours left on stream, then you'll see them switch it up. But most of them will go into a day saying like, okay, we're playing, like Brand Mill Rogue deck, and that's what they play for
that's
5
what we're
to
doing.
6 hours.
Yeah.
And then they switch it up like day to day. So they kind of have that consistency where they're playing with a deck for 5 or 6 hours, and then they switch it up the next day and they play a different deck for 5 to 6 hours, which I think is also valid. Basically, you just have to put in the time with the deck to know if the deck is the problem or if it's like your understanding of the game. Like, are you making poor decisions? Are you piloting the deck badly? And you need just a volume of games to be able to make that decision. Like right now, I went about 50-50 today with my Paladin deck, and I know I made some really, really big mistakes playing on stream. So I think that, there's nothing wrong with my Pally deck. It's just I straight up made mistakes. So I don't need to tech anything. I need to, check myself before I wreck myself because it's all on me.
Indeed. All right, joining us now for the first time ever here on Jory to Legend, the ladder support group is my co-host on Night Attack and in many ways in life, Brian Brushwood.
Hey man, sorry I came in halfway. What did I miss?
Well, no, it's the number one. Again, this is the Hearthstone ladder support group. So you announced your name and your rank.
Oh, there you go. Hi, I'm Brian, and as of today, I'm rank 13.
Hi, Brian.
So basically, Brushwood is kicking your ass, is what I'm getting out of this.
He is whipping my monkey ass.
Josh,
now, except for the fact that I played him 3 times yesterday on set, and I killed him all 3.
Okay, yes.
Is there a recording of that anywhere? Because I don't believe it.
No, I believe the hype because it was it was one of those where it's like, well, if you're going to draw like that, then of course you're going to stomp me every time.
Oh, the classic, it was the draw.
Maybe, with the sample size. And for the record, you only stomped me twice. The third one was abandoned halfway through.
Mid-stomping when we were called in front of the
I was this close to Dr. Boom. Get out of here.
Tables were flipped.
So it's fascinating. This is the first month that I've ever started the month where it's like, I'm going to try. I'm going to see how far I can get on the ladder. And this is the farthest I've been on the ladder and the earliest I've gotten there. And a huge, huge part of this has been the guidance of it's that spectating mode and that little incentive to watch other people is the best thing for an internet celebrity to have, because you got like 200 friends on Blizzard on Battle.net, and then they pop in and they offer things like, they're like, go this, go that, and they're like, and you're like, why? Because it's one thing to just have somebody say to do a thing, but then they're like, because most likely he has a such and such, and that's why you need to drop Lotheb right now. And it's like, oh shoot, yes, now I learn. And in this case, Peter Severance has been a longtime fan who helped me construct a copy of his Control Paladin deck. And I had been playing Secret Paladin, but as you guys know, that's a roll of the dice. You either get the roll, the draw, or you don't. Whereas Control Paladin has been so much fun for me to just sit back and wait. It's very kung fu. It's like, you come at me and I'm just gonna block everything, and then oh, you're out of moves, killing strike. And that's it's been great, and I got to give a huge thanks to Peter for that. And it's awesome because, as you were mentioning, to me it was a breakthrough to, number one, realize, like, on the one hand you get annoyed when you make a dumb mistake, but on the other hand you're like, oh, I'm recognizing when I'm making a dumb mistake.
Yeah.
And then and the corollary of that is that all of a sudden each time you lose, it's not a disappointment, it's not a setback, it's like, wow, I really learned something. It caused me to start thinking of the game as chess. And once you think of it as chess, every game is a lesson. And you're like, okay, what did I learn this time? And even if it's just that, even if all you learned is that be more on guard when, this character class comes up, then that's worth it right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or be careful to not play your muster for battle on 3 when I have a secret and I counterspell you, and then play.
That was me gambling because I didn't have it after that. Because if I had a Keys and Mystic, I would have held off and I would have dropped that. But I was like, well, it's either counterspell or not, and so I went for it. But whatever.
That's usually how secrets work. It's either a secret or it's that other one.
Mirror image, yeah,
or
sure.
Mirror image, which you then played on 4 for a knife juggler. So, all right, I need to ask you guys. I'm gonna switch out this Tempo Mage deck because I hit this wall. What else do you believe, Joss, fits the meta that would make sense for me to switch to? What is a favorable deck that I should switch?
Well, I think there's a couple. What kind of a play style are you looking for? Like, do you enjoy getting to late game, or do you want to just aggro the crap out of everything?
The 2 decks, I've had success in both ends, because like I found best success with the Tempo deck when I played it more aggressively, and then the deck that I had the best success before that was Dragon Paladin, which is very much just sort of like slow, methodical, overwhelming, have enough answers to challenges kind of deck.
Mm-hmm. How is your collection? Like, how complete is your collection, especially in like the legendaries?
Fairly good.
Okay.
On a scale, respondents 85% said strongly agree with reservations.
Okay, so I'm thinking possibly a Control Warrior. Control Warrior is
that's exactly
really
what I was about to
solid.
say. So just so we're clear, because I am a noob and a dummy. The Control Warrior is the one where he keeps he's the dude who keeps armoring up all the time, right?
Yeah,
and then
pretty
I'm
much
throwing out.
he destroys anything you put on board while basically just gaining his own health until he drops big late game stuff like you've got your Sarahs, you've got your Alexstrasas, you've got Boom, Grom, like basically all the big legendaries come down in the later turns and you just have to get there. In the meantime, like turn 6 you're trying to drop Justicar is actually in that deck
Huge.
as well because
Yeah.
that's the one that all of a sudden you're getting 4 armor every turn and you're just like, haha, try to catch
Dude,
me.
that's the moment. That's
And-
the
and
moment
you're-
where it's like you just even as a control paladin, you just drop everything and you just suddenly turn rabid and feral and just go for the jugular, or you're screwed.
Yep.
So in those decks, which by the way were the bane of my Dragon Paladin existence, because I match up far better with Tempo Mage, where I can start to do serious damage in the first 6, or possibly Mirror Image, a shield or armor smith, something like that, and at least gain some of that for myself. The 2 legendaries I'm lacking there are Alexstrasza and Ysera. Like I have Grom and I have Boom, but those are the two biggins.
Do you have Justicar?
I do have Justicar.
Okay. Alexstrasza is helpful because you can set your opponent down to 15 and then it's so easy within a turn or two and a Grom to just wreck them.
Yeah.
But of all of them, Grom is kind of key and so is Justicar. I think you can probably make do without Ysera and Alexstrasza. It depends what other big threats you kind of have because that's the whole thing is you want to armor up and control the board kind of all the way through kind of turn even 7 and 8 and then you want to start dropping your big stuff. So
is Chromagus a Methadone Ysera, like a big dragon synergy that at least gets you, possibly rad stuff? I mean, Ysera, no matter
so
what.
you basically what you're asking is, can you sub that just so you can start playing with it?
Well, yeah. I mean, unless I just want to, for tax write-off purposes, buy a million decks.
By the way, this is like you're doing that semi-ironically. I am so past ironically.
Oh, no,
like that's definitely like it was
this is
that called me out as an adult who has real life money. It's like you spend the real life money and you deduct that stuff and you go.
Oh no, this is only being said because I know Ashley's at home and might be watching. In my new role as independent media creator, I need to be justifying all of our extra
Dude,
dollars.
a very,
spent.
very wise man once told me that I was an adult and it was time to drop $100 on some cards and dust.
Exactly.
And,
it's about time that listen.
there's a
we're
sale
making
right
enough
now.
on this thing, right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
we can rock this.
Yeah. Well, that's that. So, what the bundle now is what? How many?
50 packs for $50.
But it's basics, right?
I would have to check. I don't have the $50 to throw at it, so I wasn't looking at it that
Yeah,
closely.
by the way, thank you for giving me that advice literally 2 days before they do this amazing sale.
I don't know. What do you think? I got a hotline to Ben Brode, and he's like, "Yeah, pump the decks before we put it on sale."
All right, let's see. 50 classic packs
Which
for $50.
I mean, like you're effectively buying the dust at this point.
Yeah.
If you've been playing the
totally.
game for a while.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a good way for people to get in. I mean, classic packs, you're going to get the dust. You might open your Alexstrasza and your Ysera, so,
Ysera was
Mr.
basic?
I don't...
No,
They're all
Ysera
classic.
was basic?
Yeah, they're classic, yeah.
Oh, really?
I thought it was it looked like a dragon on the card. I just assumed it was a dragon.
Well, I mean, they're dragon cards, but they come out of classic packs.
I thought dragons. Okay, whatever. I don't know.
No, yeah.
nothing.
In many ways, the big boy never left. Right?
Right.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to look to put together a control warrior. I think I do know how to play it because I definitely, I went to fatigue with it so many times with Dragon Paladin. And
You
just
learned
was
a thing or two while you were playing against them?
Never able to get over the hump. What did I tech in eventually just for burst damage? I forget. I wound up teching that Dragon Paladin deck within an inch of its life, literally, just to see how far I could keep those same synergies while just giving me some kind of crazy burst damage to break through. Oh no! I put in another legendary. Oh, Braun. It was when Bronzebeard came out, and I put him in, so I could basically just have something else that he would use a big removal on. So hopefully some of my other, the Nefarians, Chromaguses of the world could maybe actually do some damage.
Real quick, and forgive me if you guys have already discussed this, but I am shocked at why am I blanking on the name of Tom Selleck's card? The one,
Reno?
Yeah. I'm shocked at how few Reno cards I'm encountering in the meta. I mean, it's maybe 3 out of the last 30 games, and of those 3, one of them, I think I got stomped on 2, but one of them, it was not even an issue. It was like I already had an upper hand by that point and just kept on, doing the control thing. Is that the case for you guys?
I haven't seen any Reno decks lately. I think mostly that's probably just they were so huge for that 1 week when he came out that everyone was just like, okay, we have to figure out how to, kind of tech against this, and we need lots of burst damage. We need minions that are going to survive because we're going to need to use them over and over and over. So I think people just really learned how to play against him really, really quickly, and to the point that, like you say, he just wasn't a problem anymore. And there's been so many other powerful cards that have come out in the weeks since he was released, like Bronzebeard. I think people kind of switched over to his Battlecry decks way faster, and I think he's just fallen out of style, not necessarily because he's not powerful, just because there's other cool fun stuff to play with right now. So,
but also, if you only saw him in 10%, so 3 out of 30, that seems like a fairly reasonable place for to build an entire deck around this one card. Like that seems a 10% appearance rate seems reasonable for a card like Reno that has the amount of drawbacks that it has.
Yeah, that is still true. And I find that I think I've played against a few Reno decks who haven't drawn Reno, because there's been a couple of games that I've had. I'm just like, what the heck is this deck even? Like, why are you running
and then you
that
figured out
card?
after the fact, like, I get it.
Well,
you were
that
waiting
was
for Reno, who
probably
didn't
Reno.
appear.
Yeah.
I've also seen a lot of just the whole League of Explorers, the whole crew. Like putting all the explorers together, the Bronzebeards, the Renos, the Murgletons. What's the lady? Who's the lady?
Oh crap.
The lady. The other guy.
she's the night elf. That's why I don't remember, because Horde.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But the golden monkey.
Star Seeker, Sun Seeker, or something like that. At least something.
I've seen a lot of those. I've seen a bunch of people playing all of them together, which I'm not quite sure they necessarily fit together.
I know Dill's made a deck. It's a Warlock deck with all the explorers in it, and we're actually going to be talking about that on Angry Chicken in half an hour. But it's more fun, I think, than anything else, because realistically, Golden Monkey, not that great. Like, just turning your whole deck into legendaries.
Yeah.
And so hard to pull. And then, there's just so many legendaries in the game now. Most of them are okay. Some of them are fantastic, but some of them are just crap.
Well, and that's the thing. Or, certainly they have a very specific use.
Yes.
But for your situation at any given time, the odds are higher now than before that you could get a legendary that'll be total garbage.
Oh, listen, as somebody who has played Confessor Paltris in a deck, I can attest to the fact that there are many dog shit legendaries like that can't stay on the board, that either rely. I mean, the good thing you get with Golden Monkey as compared to Paltris is at least you get their battle cries.
Yes,
right?
that's true.
Where that was the total bonnier about Paltris, is that you would get this amazing card that has like a deficiency in terms of its health, for the fact that there's an amazing battle cry that you just don't get to see because it appears on the board.
Hey, so you didn't just constantly pull rags from your Paltrises? Because that's all that ever happened to me. I was just like, rag,
I
and
hate you. This is a hatred that is burning through the screen.
Hey, so real quick, I'm seeing
melting the snow in Ontario.
I'm a little bit unbalanced in that I'm only finally reaching the section of the rank where the meta really changes and you start to play against people who know what they're doing. I'm starting to encounter the discover mechanic being used a lot. People dropping stuff, swapping out their hero powers, or getting rank 2, rank 3 cards and so on. Which of if I was going to make one of those decks, if I wanted to play that game, have you guys noticed a particular archetype that works really well with those?
There's a couple of different powerful discovered decks, but usually the whole deck isn't built around discover. There's one or two cards that they've put in. For instance, Warlock has the Dark Peddler, which is actually used quite often in stuff like zoo decks mostly. I don't really see it in handlocks. Actually, I don't see handlocks at all really right now.
No.
But basically that's the one that it's a 2-drop, it's a 2/2, and then it lets you get a 1 mana something. So sometimes it's Mortal Coil, sometimes it's, another Flame Imp, and it really lets you kind of buff your existing buff deck. And so that's really, really good.
And what is that? That's a 3-drop or a 2-drop?
2-drop. So it's a 2/2 for 2, and then plus you get another 1 mana something.
Which is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got anything with a shaman is using Sir Finley because anything is better than the shaman hero power. Sir Finley is also good in a warlock deck because at some point you're not going to be able to life tap anymore. So you can either use Sir Finley or there's one other card and I can't remember. It's like 5 or 6 mana and it lets you steal your opponent's hero power. So at some point you're just not going to be able to tap anymore. So that discover a new hero power mechanic is really powerful in Warlock as well. I'm trying to think of what other discover cards have really been used. I think there's a Hunter one, but I haven't seen a lot of Hunter at all, period.
No, I think the
the
biggest Jeweled Scarab I still see a lot. But other than that, Dark Peddler, Jeweled Scarab, and of course Sir Finley, which I think is probably going to be the most sticky must include card out of all of League of Explorers. I think like Reno's probably the most important to the meta because it introduced a totally different way to play the game. But Sir Finley, I feel like you're going to be seeing every shaman deck forever going to have Sir Finley in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna switch to Control Warrior. You have switched from your Sir Finley shaman to Control Paladin. Brian, you have had success with Control Paladin,
and not only success, but also I feel like I'm learning more because this is my first time to dip down deep enough that I'm playing against players who know book moves. It's like and again, this is what I love about the comparison between this and chess. Is in chess, there's nothing negative about the idea of sitting down and reading books of moves from the Grand Masters and it just being assumed that like, oh, you're going to use the Queen's Pawn, Sicilian defense, whatever. It's like they call them book moves. And it's like I'm finally encountering people to where there are certain moves that are so established as the best ones that you can kind of predict and start thinking. For the first time ever, I'm able to think 2 or 3 moves out. So even if this isn't the deck that takes me to Legendary, then this is the deck that is teaching me the most as I make that journey because it's a defensive deck that forces me to consider all the possibilities from the other hero classes.
Well, and that is kind of just in general the key to playing Hearthstone is not only knowing your own deck, but knowing what your opponent is going to do. And that is actually really hard to do now because the ladder is all over the place. Like probably 6 or 8 months ago, you had, 3 or 4 decks that were played on ladder. That was it. So, you knew your combo druid, you knew your control warrior, you knew your face hunter, and you knew your handlock. And, you were just like, okay, I know exactly what my opponent's going to do. I think I played 7 or 8 games in the hour and a half I was streaming today. And I didn't face the same deck twice. I had no idea what my opponent was going to do. I was like, all right, I know that Paladins have like True Silver and Consecrate and Secrets, but oh, wait, this isn't a Secret Pally. Okay, well, what the heck is going on? And then same with the Warlocks, like all these Reno decks with all these one-off cards are just like, I literally have no idea. Even though I know the threats from each of the classes, I can't recognize now instantly what the deck archetype is, which is great for the game, but really hard for the climb.
But I do think that if you have a strong archetype, which is why I've been very, very happy playing Tempo Mage, because against Reno, all right, homeboy, you want to throw that Reno out there and heal from 2 health to 30, ain't gonna do a whole happy hell of a lot when you're not able to take off my well, who's the wizard that gives me fireballs?
Archmage Antonite.
Archmage.
That guy.
Whenever that other guy's out there, that Archmage, listen, I'm just going to be able to fireball your face. You're going to be dead in 2 turns anyway from a 30 health, no matter what. So if I feel like what I've learned the most is that, like, in this very confusing, chaotic meta, the best thing you can have is a handle on your own deck and be playing your own game where they're reacting to you and you're not necessarily reacting to it, because that's going to be the problem with switching to a more defensive deck, is that, like, you don't exactly know when you should go in for that kill, when you should be aggressive if you're not sure what they're playing.
Mm-hmm. And I think that especially with your control deck, you're going to have to watch for, like, are they playing out of the ordinary cards? Are they playing like one version of everything? Do they never have any duplicates? Because then you're going to know that you have to watch out for Reno. And you're just like, I find with Reno players, you almost have to trick them. You have to be like kind of hoarding your own damage doing cards so that you can combo them down in one turn. And if you can keep them in and around kind of like 15 health, then they're just like, well, I don't want to use my Reno because, that's only 15 healing and I want to do 20 or more. And so if you can keep them over that kind of 15 damage threshold and build your own board and then all of a sudden just go like kabam, then that's kind of a good counter. It's not like a card counter, it's like a mind game counter. It's like, oh, you think you're safe, only 15 health, don't Reno yet. Yeah. Kaboom.
Although I do think that the problem with Reno decks in general is, like, if you are trying to build a deck where you're staying in the game, you are always going to fail. Like you need to be playing Reno with very aggressive decks where you're just looking to either kill them and you want Reno to be that one last, couple plays.
But of course that's
over the top.
Counterintuitive almost, because, like, if you're going for face, you hope to resolve this in the first 15 moves or so, which means that the odds of getting Reno are maybe 50-50. You either have him or you don't. He's a weird parachute. I mean, I agree. It's a counterintuitive thing.
But at least you have multiple ways to kill people. You can survive beyond that, and you're not looking at the classic kind of face hunter dilemma where it's like, if you haven't killed them by 8, then you're effed in the A.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
quick question.
Go.
This is inappropriate for me as a first time sharer here at the support group.
Here at this ladder support group.
I just want to know if at the end of Alcoholics Anonymous, they say the
Serenity Prayer.
The Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
Do we have some equivalent? Because it seems to me like we could just say, until next time, the struggle is real. You know, it's like that could be our group prayer.
Brode, grant me the will to accept the plays I cannot change.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, Joss, thank you so much for joining us. We probably won't be able to do one again this week, but we will. I mean, hopefully. Listen, we're going to save time for when we have a bunch of free time during Christmas week, which will be a really great decision.
Because nobody travels or has parties or does anything the week of Christmas.
We're gonna have to push. We're gonna have to keep going through January. That's just the end of this discussion. All right, Brian, you are here. This is your house. I don't know why I'm thanking you.
No, thank you for having me, Justin.
Until next time.
We still don't have a sign off, do we?
Until next time, the struggle is real.
Struggle is real.
Struggle is real.
The Angry Chicken's coming up.